Greetings and welcome to Channel Other Doc. I'm Jim, I use he, him pronouns, and this is our short campaign of MASHED, a game by Mark Plemmons that takes place in a MASH unit during the Korean War. It is not based on the TV show, but it was in part inspired by it, and it's based mostly on the history. And we've just lost someone. I think oh dear. That's, yes, that would be Pepper. Hopefully they're okay. We'll see if we can get them back here as we're doing this thing. So let's see. I'm just going to come down here into their window and say hello. Hi. How's it going? Here we go. Good. Reassembling is happening. Cool. Excellent. Good. Nope, we just lost you for a sec, but we're back. It's cool. It's all cool and good. I apologize for playing the trumpet that crashed your computer. I'm so terribly sorry about that. Let me put on something slightly cheerier. There we go. In any case, let us go around. Now that we are assembled, let us go around and say hello to everybody. We shall start with Robin. Hello. That is fair. Although they are not unheard of in places like this. But let us move around then to Noah. Hello. Cannot hear players. Can't hear players. Now, I have just been informed that they cannot hear the players. So, which I think... But we had this happen before, didn't we? And I understand they won't be able to hear your response. But yeah, let me just double check something here. Yeah. Okay. Apparently there's a system-wide thing that happens. Let's try that again. Robin is sick right now, so I'm not going to force you to say this all again, unless you... so someone other than Robin say something.
Greetings and salutations, chats, viewers, everyone else. It is I, Pope, World Build. And I and Captain Jacob Silver, the good padre, use he, him pronouns. And hopefully we're going to get into all sorts of positive trouble here on MASHED, as well as, most assuredly, because I love you and I hate you, Jim, the emotional stabby kind.
Excellent. All right, well, let's go around kind of reversal a little bit to scoop up everyone else. Hi, Pepper.
Hi there. My name's Pepper. I use they, them pronouns. I am playing Dr. Isaiah Gold. He is a captain. Isaiah uses he, him pronouns. You can find me on Twitter at nebethem4815 and on Archive of Our Own with the same handle.
Excellent. And now, finally, since they weren't able to hear you before, once again, could we let us say hello to Noah? Hi.
Hi, yeah. My name is Noah. I use he, him pronouns. My character, Private Egan, also use he, him pronouns. He is the clown of the group, and he's as jolly as he is ever.
And again, we're sparing Robin's throat today, but she's playing Warrant Officer Clark Remington, who uses he, him pronouns. The playbook is the cowboy. The role is the Casanova, and he does not wear a cowboy hat. That I believe was all the correct information that was passed on. So now that we're there. Let me, before we dive directly into the Korean War, like we do with most games on this channel, we're going to be using the X card, the N card, and the O card. If we hit something that's crossing a line for one of the players, any of them can type an X in the Zoom video chat or anywhere else, or make an X symbol, and we'll back up and do something else. If something happens that they're okay having in the game, but they don't want a graphic description of it, any of us can type an N in the Zoom chat, and then we'll fade to black on it, or we'll put it behind a veil. So it'll be there, but we won't go into detail. Finally, if we're exploring a topic or area of role-playing that's particularly intense for us, but we want to keep going, we can put an O in the chat to let us know that we're okay and that we're good to keep piling on the drama. Something else we can do is put an O with a question mark after it when we're moving into a difficult topic, or we say or we do something and then think, maybe that might have been a little too much. Then everyone else can respond to that and let us know if we're still doing okay. And so now, let's see. How do I want to kick this off? Yeah. Yes. I think I'm going to start with a bit of a rainstorm that's going on, because it is July of 1951, and some of the folks who haven't been here since last year are realizing that this is monsoon season. It is incredibly difficult getting, just getting adjusted to it. So it's been there have been issues. Also because on the days when it's not monsooning, the heat is pretty much baking everybody. So it is a royal pain right now. But as we open, we see patients at an aid station being carried into an ambulance. The ambulance fits 4, but you can cram a 5th in if you have them on the floor. Which, since this is the time it is, when we're still kind of just at the point where we're still getting a very steady flow of wounded, we're going to say that that 5th floor space is occupied here, and we're going to see Warrant Officer Clark Remington essentially helping getting everyone together. And as we're panning in on him, what do we see? What does Clark look like, and what is he doing?
He's very handsome. This is my joke. He's kind of an atypical good-looking guy. It's obvious he's had his nose broken once, maybe twice, reset. It's pretty much the only ugly feature on his face. He has beautiful eyes. And that's you probably noticed the rain dripping down his face into his long eyelashes. And he wipes his face, and he's smiles, and he says, "All right, let's get them in. Come on."
Okay, and it is. You may note that as this is going on, we will briefly see someone. We see a tall woman out not too far from where Clark is standing, and she has lieutenant's insignia on her, and she's giving orders to a few people. This is Lieutenant Penelope Rodriguez, and she just sort of as Clark is hopping into the ambulance, she just sort of turned and waves, winks at him, and then turns and gets back to work.
I return the wave, and it's not very graceful, I suppose, as I start the engine and I begin to pull away, and it's just like a spray of mud out from underneath my tires.
Excellent.
As they go for purchase and they don't get it for the first couple seconds, and then they grip and I start rolling away.
Okay. So there is in fact, there's a move that I would like you to make, where you are trying to maneuver here. Rule, oddly enough, it's called maneuver.
Cool. This is my worst stat.
Where you're trying to get to the camp. And so you're going to be rolling plus luck, so whatever your luck stat is.
Oh,
And,
it's a minus.
Congratulations, first roll of the first roll of the game. Okay, not bad, not bad. So I get to pick one of these things on the list. You accidentally leave someone or something behind. You have an unexpected encounter on the way. You're slowed by terrain and/or weather, or it takes a lot out of you. Take stress. I think we're going to say that you are slowed by the weather, as the rain really picks up at this point, and so it's like hitting into the ambulance kind of sideways, as the rain and the wind is picking up, and you're kind of rocking back and forth trying to stay on this muddy road. You manage it. You have to be a little careful to get in. And one actually wonders, I don't know if they had mobile. History question for anyone who might know the answer off the top of their heads. Did they have mobile radios in vehicles at this time? Or is that a little later? Because I don't seem to recall them having anything other than stationary radios in this.
They had some, but they had to have a separate operator in order to use them.
Okay, so probably not in the ambulance. I'm thinking because, room and getting things from place to place. It's possible, but I don't think that. Yeah, I think I'm imagining just the way that I'm thinking of this. This is like just basically going to be Clark and the patients, and that's pretty much going to be it. So you're not going to hear any. You're not going to hear anything from anyone, but you are eventually going to make it into the camp. And as we're doing this, let me go ahead and show folks the camp because we can see it now. You're coming in, I imagine, on this road, on the north road past the guard post, because you're coming in from the front, and the front is to the north. You are not very far from the 38th parallel. You're not terribly far. It's been moving. The line has been moving a lot. You're kind of at the point now that troops are kind of stabilizing north of the 38th parallel, and so things are going to ease up soon. But we don't know that yet, as the way these things go. So at present, it's still okay, get out alive. So what we have happening, ambulances finally, after longer definitely than anyone would like, comes pulling in. So you've already actually got the hospital is kind of swarming with wounded here. So let me see, the receiving ward is over on the right. So I'm going to presume that you're going to drive right around down to the entrance there. And they're going to start unloading them, checking things out. So the next step that happens, Private Egan is going to appear and help transport these folks into the hospital, into the receiving ward. And so, and it is also possible we might see the Padre also helping, but that's up to Pope, as to whether sometimes Padres will help and transport the patients. So what we'll see first though is Private Egan. So Noah, tell us who we see and what we see them doing.
Well, you see a guy. He's like 5 feet tall. He's not really that tall. He's just 5 feet, like just that. For a soldier, he's very short. And well, when he sees the car, he just tumbled out of the tent and quickly rushed into action. And you also see him like probably not without his uniform. Like he's only wearing his like wife beater, and that's it. He's really unprepared. He's like, oh shit, oh god, not this. And then he quickly rushed the patients in, and then yeah. Oh, and Jim, I
Mhm.
also have anticipator as my corpsman move.
Ah,
So
excellent. And tell us what
so
that does as a
at
reminder.
the beginning of a session, roll plus luck on a 10 plus, hold 2, on a 7 to 9, hold 1. At any time, you can spend your hold to appear where you're needed with the proper tools and or information with or without any clear explanation why. On a
Ah,
miss,
excellent.
the CEO holds 1 and can spend it to have you already be there, but caught with your pants down, unprepared, or embarrassed in some way. Well, I'm
Excellent.
already
Okay.
embarrassed, but I can be more
Already slipping
embarrassed.
around in the mud trying to get this together. But that's excellent. Go ahead and roll plus luck for us, and we'll see. We'll see what you get.
All right.
Oh, that is a miss. Okay, let me come over here. Just to double check on the move here. Corman anticipator. All right. Okay, yeah. All right, excellent. Excellent. Oh, this is perfect. Okay, good. Good. I'm going to make a note of that I have one hold on you. All right. Good, good. Excellent. So, yeah, as you're as you know, just basically so yeah, Egan is having a bit of a tough time getting everyone in because there's already a surge of patients in here. They're trying that because this unfortunately Clark's ambulance was not the first to make it here, but which is usually the case. But we also will see, I believe.
Hey, wait a second. No, it's fair. No, I get it. I get it.
Well, perhaps it's often the case. We don't know. But we also are going to see Captain Jacob Silver, who is assisting getting these patients in. And who do we see, and what are they doing?
So you see Captain Silver, who's prepared for monsoon season. He's wearing boots, the full-on rain slick gear, boonie hat, and is standing 5'10", sort of worn eyes and mildly unkempt beard at this point, as it's just been going from one layer to another with his assistant, Private Wellington, who are just, soon as the triage nurse gives them the go-ahead, are moving them in and out of the hospital. And it's just, at this point, they've developed a rhythm. And it looks like they've probably been standing out here in the rain for at least an hour.
Excellent. Yeah.
Sorry for the delay. There was traffic on the turnpike.
Good to know there, Clark.
Yeah, I'd help out, but I'm not exactly sterile. And he like motions to himself. He's got mud splattered up past his knees.
Yeah, no. Clark, just go hit up the showers, get clean, get a change of clothes. You also look like shit. Get some coffee, and then come back here and give a hand.
No, I gotta head back out to the front.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Oh, gods. Bless you, Clark.
Sure. Whatever blessings to be had, I suppose.
Godspeed.
Nice to see you, Eggie. Keep your head up.
Oh, hi! I didn't see you there. Don't mind the lack of shirt. I'm just.
Yeah, you getting cold there?
Well, I'm cold isn't exactly the right word. It's more like a little bit damp after all the running around and all that. But
I'm looking at our good father here, who's like head to toe in like rain gear, and you're just like, yeah, a little wet. Sure.
I'm just a little wet. Don't worry. You know all these dribbles on my body? It's okay. It's just wet. It's not rain. I swear.
All right. Well, you better stay warm out there, or else you're gonna catch a cold, and you're gonna be in one of those hospital beds. All right.
Yeah, I really don't want to be in the hospital.
Yeah, well,
right now with all the patients.
Yeah. All right. You got everyone out of the back?
Yeah,
You're clear.
You're
I
clear.
think
Awesome.
I got everyone.
I'll see y'all later. And I get back in my ambulance and I pull away.
All right. So, as finally Egan and Jacob, as you're kind of finally getting this final stretcher up and over to the receiving ward, the door is opened. See, it just opens for you as you see the sort of the tall and just somewhat tall but kind of just very very bedraggled and quiet figure of Corporal Smith, the company clerk, who's just like just kind of just sort of scrubs his slightly curling hair. Just go on. They've got a space for you. And you folks head in into the receiving ward, and then as we're doing this, we're going to see our doc. We're going to see Dr. Gold, who needs to diagnose and triage these patients as they're coming in, and we can sort of figure out where to put them. So first off, Pepper, who do we see and what do we see them doing?
Well, Isaiah is first and foremost very tall. He's just a shade over 6 feet. He's kind of lanky, like perpetually underfed kind of look to him. He's also very pale, but sunburned. Like, you know, when you've gone to the beach and you're on vacation and you've been at the beach like a week and you're sunburned and you're tan? That's what Isaiah's skin looks like. He's wearing a doctor's coat over his uniform. His hair is like dark and kind of curly, and his nose is kind of hooked.
Ah, excellent.
And he's got character, and he's pulling on a pair of gloves and just hurrying over as fast as he can.
Nice. So yes, you've got. So you've been working, setting these patients up for some time, and now you've got a few more coming in. So what I'm going to do, as we're sort of for setting this up, is I'm going to have you do a diagnose roll to try to get this. To try to get these patients sorted out. I think I'm just going to bring this down to one roll, so I'm not making you do it on everybody.
That's fair.
We'll sort of see how this goes. So let me pull open the appropriate page here. There it is. Okay, so diagnose before surgery. So you're going to be rolling. It says plus skill.
Yes.
All right. Okay. So on a 7 to 9, you may see the casualty sheet, but CO chooses a consequence. The patient's wounds are worse.
You rolled 2d4 instead of 2d6.
Ah!
Oh my gosh, yes. Thank you.
Oh dear, yeah, no. Is that did you use the macro, or was that the, or did you type it in?
I just typed it in.
Oh, okay. 2d6 plus 2. Okay, there. That's. It's still a 7 to 9, but it's at least it's better. It's better because it's official. So Let's see. So I'm going to show you the casualty sheets, but let me take a look here. Yeah. I think, yeah, so I'm going to do something here where I'm going to take 3 patients and I'm going to give them problems.
Delightful.
So I'm going to pull in a second here, and hopefully, well, the audience will see this as well, but in just a moment. But first I'm going to switch us back to main. So that what you're going to be looking at blankness at first here. Let me go ahead and uncover these and start and actually draw on them. So let's see. First area. So first patient sheet. It's this one. And I'm gonna go ahead and set up their issue here. So let's see. I roll 2d6 a few times. Try to figure this out. So I'm going to go ahead and just hit the thing and let's see what we got. Okay, 6. Okay. That's for number 1. That's for number 2. That's for number 3. Excellent. And I'm going to check the trauma here real quick. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, that's basically it. Okay. All right. Okay. So I'm actually I'm not gonna fill in the clocks yet because I want to see how you triage these folks. So I'm just gonna tell you what the problems are.
Okay.
So these 3 patients that I'm sort of dealing with here, they've got you're dealing with 2 chests and an abdomen, essentially. First of all, where you've got the main problems. It looks like there were explosions, so it looks like explosions and fragmentation. So it's either they probably explosive ordnance was what they probably caught a decent amount of. Let's see. Yeah, so I'm going to pick that for that one. Yeah. No, come back. Come back, move page. There it is. Yeah. Oh, okay, and this actually makes sense. All right. Okay. So let's see. Yeah, these are all. So 2 of these have essentially the equivalent of 4 harm, and one of them has 5 harm. So you've got code red and code blue on them. So code red, patient has life-threatening injuries that can usually be treated without significant use of resources. Examples include uncontrolled hemorrhage, airway obstruction, head injury, shock, severe burns, face and neck. Blue, code blue, expectant, is only complicated and prolonged treatment can save this patient. Included here are catastrophic head or chest injuries, transcranial gut and shot wounds with coma of open pelvic injuries and uncontrolled bleeding, burns covering more than 85% of the body. So, yeah, they are all wounded. They've got wounds. One of the chest wounds is just hemorrhaging horribly, and it is looking like it's going to take complicated and prolonged treatment. These other 2 guys, you got the other chest and the abdomen. They're also The one with abdominal trouble, with the abdominal wound, is his blood pressure is too low. So there is something kind of weird there. So you're gonna get a -1 on for treating on the abdomen person, basically for anyone who tries to treat them. It's gonna be a little harder to treat them, and then yeah, it's yeah. And so yeah, the other one, the other chest wound, it does look like this is fairly far along, and so it's gonna there are gonna be issues here. So those are the 3 different patients. Do you want any more details, or would you like to go ahead and triage them? Tell me what order you want them to go in.
So not the person with the low blood pressure, but this third one you described. Can you describe their wounds again?
Okay. He's got shrapnel in his chest. Looks like basically that it's all 3 of these guys had looked like something exploded. A shell of some kind probably exploded near them, and so they all took shrapnel in different places.
Are there any sucking chest wounds?
Yeah, the one who's most wounded is just the blood's coming out of it horribly. It's just hemorrhaging out right now.
All right, I'm going to get the one with the 5 harm. I'm going to get him into emergency surgery as soon as possible.
Okay.
Then I'm going to find a nurse to see if she can take care of the guy with the chest shrapnel.
Okay.
And I'm going to examine the guy with the low blood pressure for abdominal bleeding or internal bleeding.
Okay. All right. So I think what I'm going to have you do is, as you're basically looking this patient over. Yeah, I think there's going to be additional information you can get here. So I think I'm going to go ahead and have you do a general practice application of diagnose, just to see if you can get some more information about what's going on with them. And so that's same move, but so you're just rolling that again. But it's going to be the other half of it. 10.
Yes.
Okay. So you hold 2, and you get +1 forward when acting on the question to the answers that are underneath the general practice of diagnose. And so you can let me know kind of what question. Let's see. So to diagnose, roll +10, hold 2. Notice that when you act on the answer 2, I assume you get 2 questions out of that list. It's not.
Oh my goodness, where did I put it?
Yeah, the way it's written. And so you've got, what do I think is wrong with this patient? Does this patient need a prescription or treatment? How serious is this illness? Am I overlooking something, and if so, what? And we can bend those if you want to, if you want to adjust the definition of one of them.
Am I overlooking, like, is there blood pooling in the abdomen? Is there an abnormal amount of blood? Is there, like, arterial spray, like, pulsing, anything like that?
Yes. There is more. There is a lot of blood. There's more blood coming out. It seems like it's just like the blood's kind of flowing too fast.
Can I grab some gauze and try to staunch the bleeding?
Yes, you may. So we're going to do this as Okay, I'm going to treat this as a surgery roll because he's got 4 harm.
Okay.
So yeah, well, I think we're just gonna see how you. I mean, actually, you know what? Let's not dive right into that. Yes, you can staunch the bleeding so that you can keep him alive long enough to get him to surgery if you need to.
Yes, that's what I'm going to
yeah,
try to do.
yeah, I'm just going to go with that. You roll a 10. I'm good. So yeah, you go ahead and you do that, and you've got it slowed down. It is, yeah. This guy is bleeding abnormally quickly, though. There is something wrong here to do with that.
Can I check for like shrapnel in his stomach?
Certainly. Let's see. Hang on just a second while I move over to one thing I just wanted to check. Here it is. There it is. Yeah. Yeah, you look, and you actually, as you're kind of just sort of feeling around, you do not feel any shrapnel in the stomach. Wait a minute, abdomen. I'm an idiot. This was the abdomen guy. Yes, you feel there is some shrapnel in the stomach area. That's why he's bleeding in the first place. But he's the wounded. So, but you're kind of digging further, and it's not really as much as you'd expect there to be. Not enough to explain this much blood loss.
Okay. Can I check for any other kind of injuries? Like maybe is there an internal organ that's been pierced? Can I check to see if I smell stomach acid or bile?
Well, you've got... you're going to go ahead and check that out. You actually have one more question you can ask from that list if you want to use that to sort of determine...
I don't know where I put it. I printed it out.
Well, and I can let me actually go ahead and put it in the chat for you.
Thank you, because I have this whole notebook and everything, and now I can't find what I need.
I'm going to put it in Roll20 chat so folks can see it here.
Okay.
And that's under the diagnose list. This is usually general practice, but I'm using it for this because you're focusing in on this one patient. And
the same question again. Am I overlooking something, and if so, what?
Okay. Yeah, this was the one with the low blood pressure. So as you're looking around and sort of trying to figure it out, yeah, you look and you actually sort of look at some other parts, just sort of like his, you look at his shoulder, and you look at his, he's got some bruising that doesn't seem to have much of anything to do with, he's not injured in that way. You wouldn't think that he's got like a few bruises like around. He's got like one near an elbow, one by a shoulder, and yeah, so you notice that there's something else up there, and I think just sort of looking over things, I think do you take everybody's temperature as they come in, do you think? He is kind of burning up.
He's burning up, then I'll take his temperature.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, he's got a temperature right now of about like 99.8. And seems to be moving upward. Yeah, he's unless he's an unusual case, he shouldn't be this. He should be 98.6.
Could I roll again to see if he has a head injury?
You don't have to. No, you don't have to roll for that.
Okay.
As you're just because you're kind of, and I'm again basing this on what we've got here already. As you're just sort of you're looking around. Now, No, he doesn't have a head injury. He's only injured in the abdomen, but he's got something else. Where it's like he's that's something that's causing problems with his blood, causing him to bruise, giving him a fever. What I will do is, let me see. What would you think something like this might be?
Part of me wants to say this is some kind of tropical disease like malaria, considering where we are and what season it is.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any way I can check for that?
Yeah. You can totally do that. You basically, part of it is taking his temperature and just making, just actually doubly, you go in and just sort of cross-checking against the symptoms. And the more you think about it, the more you think so you do that. And it doesn't take you long as you're thinking this. This is possibly, this is probably, as you'd heard a little bit about Korean hemorrhagic fever, and you think this is probably that.
I am going to try to get this guy. Do I know? Can I? Does he have a medical file? Like, does he have dog tags with his blood type on him?
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to try to get this guy some extra blood, and I'm going to try to get more people to staunch the bleeding.
Excellent. So yeah, you basically you get some folks in to try to work on that. His dog tags say Santini.
Okay.
His last name is Santini.
Santini.
And so they're coming. So you're getting folks into you get a you're grabbing one of the nurses something to come in and sort of help out. After a moment, so I want to move on just a little bit as this is going on. You're kind of sort of locking down. Where are you going to? I do want to ask before I do that though. Where are you going to put this patient? What are you going to have them do with them?
Do we have an isolation ward?
You have. Well, not exactly, but yeah, you've got a shock ward. It's more pre-op and shock ward, post-op. You could put him. Yeah, there's a nook over in the pre-op where you could separate him out.
Yeah.
Not far from the sort of around the corner from the scrub area.
It's the purpose.
So you could section that off basically for isolation, and it wouldn't be great, but it's
better than nothing. Let's do
exactly.
it there. Yeah, let's get him there, and let's get him as isolated as we possibly can.
Okay. All right. So you do that. You move him over. The other two patients are going kind of where you had said, and I think as this is happening, we're going to move into the OR for just a moment, so my question or actually before, let me ask. So, Private Egan, are you helping out in the OR right now, or are you doing something else?
Sorry. I'm helping as much as I can in the OR.
Okay. So basically, yeah, they've got you moving patients in and out, helping to kind of make them comfortable. Occasionally, a doctor asks you to hand them something. And so this is going to be more of a general, you're kind of running around assisting. So I'm going to ask you to make an assist move. So this is going to be rolling plus skill.
Oh,
And,
still. Oh.
Yeah. And
Okay.
I want to see what you come up with here.
As for help, let me just roll the dice first. Oh,
Oh yeah, that's good. 10 is always good. So you get to hold 2. And in this case, that's going to that's basically going to help a couple, boost a couple of things, basically, with from what the surgeons are doing. We don't have any PCs that are currently doing surgery, so we don't have to worry about them making treat moves. But it's going to help them out a little bit with the patients as they're dealing. So I'm going to count that toward that. It's basically going to help keep their clocks from running out, which is nice.
all right.
And then Padre, are you helping out in the OR, or are you doing something else right now? What are you doing?
Nope. This is in the OR. After getting off the rain slicks, the quick change happens, as I like to say, and goes in, puts on a smock, puts on a mask, gloves, and just gets in there, and because bodies need to be moved and things need to be retrieved. And I've been one of those that's been here the longest.
Yep. So, you're gonna, so you're gonna head in and you're going to help out again. You're sort of going back and forth, assisting surgeons. Being comforting as needed, but then also just handing people things, that kind of thing. Go ahead, and if you would please, also you're going to be rolling an assist move, so roll plus skill for me.
The skill.
Excellent. So the way this plays out, we have basically you've got these sort of 4 tables with the surgeons are working on things. So the CO, the XO, and the chief surgeon are all frantically working away, and then there's another surgeon frantically working away. You see that the one that Egan was kind of helping out, more sort of Major Klein, who is the XO, and he was just kind of just sort of trading barbs back and forth with Major Blackburn as they're working on these things. Major Klein, who is just sort of been is kind of happy to be helped and is kind of getting it done. Is sort of finally they rolled in this patient with who had kind of who had a chest wound but seemed to have weird complications. Like, it's a little weird. It's a little weird. His blood pressure is a little bit low. I think we're gonna be okay on him. Can I get somebody over here to just kind of keep track on his pulse as we keep this going, because this is a little bit strikes me as a tad odd here. And as
sure, Doc.
Yeah. Thanks. So moving away from the table, and you've got Captain Rodriguez, who we can't see her face right now, We can't see anybody's face right now here in the OR because they're all covered with masks. But Captain Rodriguez, chief nurse, has been just kind of going around and just making sure the patients are all right and comfortable, and making sure that the other nurses are kind of set up. And she's basically right now she's across from Major Blackburn, who is now just sort of, he actually is when Major Klein asks for the assistance there. Major Blackburn just sort of looks up, and he says, "Well, I don't think he's exactly going to need last rites yet, but feel free if you have to." And he's sort of like, "Crap," and he's sort of moving around. Suction. As he's working on this patient that got wheeled in code blue, had a horrible chest wound. Things are bleeding out, and he's kind of looking down. He says, "What the hell is this? What the hell? Now, you're doing the suction, I can see it, but what the hell is going on here?" No, God damn it! And he's sort of pulling away, and he's starting to basically, it's like you're basically that it's he's thrown some things aside, and he's now actually trying to pound on the heart to get it moving again. He says, and he's looking up. "Where's that plasma, for God's sake?" And
I'd like to get that plasma for him.
you dash over and you grab the plasma from a cart. You manage to slide in with the plasma, and Captain Rodriguez just nods to you, takes it, and sets it up, and he's like, "That's right. Okay. And he sort of pulls back for a second. Don't you die right this second, you son of a bitch."
I hope not.
As he just points down at the patient. And very slowly, and he's like, We got a pulse. And the nurse looks up and says, "Very faint, but we've got one." See how things work when you do what I tell you? He says to the patient, who's unconscious right now, obviously. And he looks at it. Jesus.
You're doing a great job, Doc. You're doing a great job. I mean, sir, you're doing a great job.
Thanks so much for that. Thank you so much for that for that affirmation, Egan. I appreciate it. Just what I needed right this moment. Come on. And he's sort of massaging things. He's like, "All right. You may not. Of course, I don't." And he finally looks up, glances over at Egan. He says, "Don't know if you're going to want to watch for too much longer. I'm going to be up this patient's chest for about the next half hour.
Well,
if you find that entertaining, by all means, keep watching."
I don't mind it at all. I've seen some gruesome stuff, but if you need any of my help, like grabbing something else, I'll be around.
Yeah, would you please? Would you please bring the tray over to would you please bring the tray over here to get so that Cassandra's got already access to it, please?
Oh, yes, sir, yes, sir. And he grabs over
Jesus.
the tray and be like, "Here you go, sir."
Man, Egan, they broke the mold when they made you. I don't know what the hell they were trying to make, but they broke it, whatever it was. Time passes, and as things settle down, Father, there are one or two patients you actually have to go around and administer last rites to. Because there was, and it does occur to you as you're looking around, there was rather a lot of, this patient with the really heavy chest wound, massive chest wound, it was hard to say whether they were worth saving. They're all worth saving, but it was hard to say if they were going to live or not in favor of some of these others. So you did have a couple of casualties. It's not certain, but you do manage. But it looks like Major Blackburn has just barely managed to save this patient's life. But these two others not so lucky. So you do have to go around and do that for the end of things.
Look at the tags, see what affiliation, and grab the big book.
Yep. You've got a Protestant and a Catholic.
All right, well, nice thing about Catholics, it's all the same. Protestant, we're going to use Rite 2 of the burial rites, the Episcopal hymnal. And just get with Wellington, administer the rites, then have them moved.
Okay. So, after several hours, things kind of slow down a bit, and the rain eventually stops. Sort of after a bit of time, after things have slowed down just a hair, and there's a little bit of a pause. Major Klein is going to come just sort of hanging over toward this isolation ward that Captain Gold has set up. And he's just kind of just sort of looking around. Has Captain Gold stayed? Has Isaiah stayed near this patient, or have you been doing other things?
He stayed until the patient was stabilized, and then he started just walking around, making rounds, seeing if there was any way he could help. And the entire time, he's keeping an eye on the father, noting who is getting last rites and who is not.
Yeah, a couple of you do see that couple of folks, and then it looks like they just barely managed to save the patient with the 5 wound patient that you sent in there, but after you're sort of back over in as you go back and you periodically check on the patient in isolation. Bertie Klein just sort of appears next to you, and he says, "Are we putting up curtains? What's up?"
I hope I'm wrong, but I think this guy may be sick in more way than one. And I'd rather it not spread to the others.
That's wonderful. That's all we need. Oh God. Okay. What do you think? What do you think's going on?
I don't know much about it, but I've heard of something called Korean hemorrhagic fever.
Oh damn.
Yeah, and considering what we are up to our eyeballs in, I really doubt that's a good thing. I don't think we need that now.
Yeah, the season was ending, and I kind of was of the impression, I was hoping that we had passed it by in this area. We're so lucky. We're so lucky. Oh hell.
Thankfully, It's just the one.
Okay, hopefully. Well, we had a couple other bleeders in there.
Did they have a fever too?
And he sort of nods. He says,
Bring him over.
Yeah, a bit of one. Yeah, it's a good idea. Let me see if Major Blackburn's finished dancing with his partner over there.
Yes.
He goes over. Yeah. After a little bit, it is, they sort of are looking things over, a bit of talking goes on. And Egan and Jacob, as you're sort of in around the OR, you sort of hear them, there's like they're talking about hemorrhagic fever. And they're starting to check out these patients a little more carefully, some of them. as this is finally sort of the last few patients are being sort of moved around, and and someone is so the chief nurse is talking to the CO. The CO just sort of turns around. He looks up. He says, "All right, folks, we got to move the hold everything. We got to check everybody for the fever. I want to find out who's got it." And get them into isolation. We need to make sure this is all set up properly. Hell. And he turns around, and he heads out. He actually goes across to this tiny isolation ward, into which a couple more patients are already being wheeled. Goes over, and he's to Captain Gold. He says, and let me see. Do you think, is Isaiah on a first name basis with the Lieutenant Colonel? I think they might be, but it's up to you.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. He just sort of comes over. Isaiah, what have you got? What have we got here? Were these the first ones?
These are the first ones that I've managed to catch. I don't know how many people it has. I don't know how far it's spread. I don't know who is coming in with it.
Okay. Well, I'm having everyone go around and check every patient at this point, and some of them are already halfway over to the beds, and I'm having them stopped right now. We're going to go around and get a more proper isolation ward set up. I think we're going to take up right now. We're going to start, optimistically, at about half the OR right now, since we've got the space just this second. We may have to improvise in a little bit and get more space for them. Can you take charge of setting up a secondary ward in one of the other buildings so we can get a proper isolation ward going?
Yes, I can.
All right. Okay, get on it. We've got a lull right now, but we never know when it's going to start up again.
Do I know of anybody who'll be willing to help me set up the isolation ward?
Yeah, you can grab any of the corpsmen who happen to be dangling around.
If I'm around, you can grab Egan by the neck and be like, "Hey, come out."
Egan happens to be wandering by, actually, right at this moment, as you're looking for people to set up the isolation ward. He said, suspending his hold.
He points to Egan. I know your face, but I don't know your name. What's your name?
It's Private Right Egan. You just call me Egan. What do you need me to do?
I need help setting up an isolation ward. Come on.
All right, sir. Yes, sir. He just hurries over.
He's adorable.
Okay, so
5 foot tall soldier just going like that, just scuttling about.
Looking back over at the camp, I'm gonna ask here. Is there a particular area where you would like to commandeer to try to set up to make an isolation ward? You can grab...
Yeah, I'm looking.
Yeah. Because we've got the beds are sort of over the holding ward in the hospital. That's sort of the beds they were talking about. And where most of the general patients are, they're all being checked right now. And then we got ORs. We've got basically you're going to have to take somebody's space. That's the thing.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out whose space I can take. So back in the holding ward, there's this kind of like L-shaped in the northernmost corner.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Isaiah would try to cut off that little chunk to leave it.
Yeah.
Yeah, let me see if I can do this thing.
Sort of the top.
Yeah, right here.
Yeah.
And everything to the right would be the isolation ward.
Gotcha. Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, like so yeah, you can. It's your choice, so you can totally do that. So yeah, they start setting up. And yeah, I mean any tense, depended on how you wanted to do that. But yeah, you want to grab patient beds. That's perfect. The regular patient beds. That's perfectly fine. So they start setting it up. They start. So yeah, actually, so how do you want to set this up? What kind of thing are you going to try to put in place to get a proper isolation ward going?
I was definitely thinking some kind of sanitizing or hand washing station. Because I'm not familiar with medical sanitation technology from the 1950s. I will admit.
Sure.
Extra gloves, extra gowns, things like that. Nobody is allowed to go into the isolation ward without putting on something.
Yeah.
And they have to take it off after they leave.
All right.
Everybody's wearing masks, and you're not allowed to leave the hospital without thoroughly sanitizing.
Okay. Good. So what do you mostly? So I assume you've got Egan running back and forth, grabbing these items.
I'm gonna put it up in a shelf. Gonna make it neat, like everything just infused, everything in stacks, just so everyone can have easy access to it. I'm really trying to do my best here.
Excellent. So yeah, and I assume, do you have some sort of partition you set up of any kind, or?
Yeah, definitely. I was thinking if they have like those solid metal dividers, I would put those up. If not, then curtains.
Okay. So I'm going to say that that is happening, and as this is happening, I'm going to say that some of the surgeons now they're kind of now, they're kind of getting everyone checked over and just sort of separating out the people who might have who look like they have hemorrhagic fever from the others, getting them into the isolation ward, and when that is winding down, then some of the surgeons are kind of have sort of wandered outside, finally to the to just sort of the outside area to stand in the to stand in the night air in a daze, so it is, and they're kind of talking about it. So you've got the CO, Lieutenant Colonel O'Malley, and Major Klein and Major Blackburn are all out there right now, just kind of trying to just sort of gradually just sort of talking a little bit about this. I'm going to say that that the Padre is also out there having finished his duties. And this will be approximately when Warrant Officer Remington will have already gotten back to camp because the last of the casualties got in. And so you can kind of be in on this as well, as you're just sort of coming, sort of in the area at this point and sort of seeing this. School's out. The people are sort of streaming out of the OR. As you see folks kind of chatting about this. So you see folks have kind of...
I'm going to go up to our good father. Do you have a smoke? I pull out my package of cigarettes from like my shirt pocket, and it's just like completely soaked through. I put it back in.
Yeah, sure, Clark. I can spare a cigar.
Thanks.
And he you see the Klein will kind of just sort of break off from his conversation, and he'll wander in your direction. Hey, Remington.
Klein.
Yeah. I don't know if you heard, but we're kind of figuring that we've got an out. It looks like we have at least a small outbreak of hemorrhagic fever.
No shit, huh?
Going on. Yeah, that's been if you've noticed a lot of folks bleeding uncontrollably, that's probably why.
Not really my area of expertise, but
Yeah.
I'll keep an eye out for it next time.
Oh yeah, that's the. I'm just saying. When you get out and you to some of these other outposts, just kind of let them know to look for that, because that's going to probably be probably be a hell of an issue. We're kind of on the hunt, and actually, I was kind of thinking we need to, and I think at this point, also, Captain Gold and Egan will be also similarly wandering out because they're done setting it up, and so you see these conversations taking place between everybody, but Klein says, I think that the real issue is we are low on penicillin. And I don't think we have enough to be able to keep this off of everybody. We've gone around, we've identified most of the patients that we've put in there in isolation. And the patients in isolation, I think they definitely have it. But we're just trying to keep them as comfortable as we can for right now, but we could really use more of that stuff right now. And he just sort of glances briefly in the Padre's direction when he says that.
Soon as the eyes meet, it's just sort of a nod, and just goes, excuse me, Clark. I think I got a phone call from home. I gotta go and take.
You're a real popular guy there.
Oh, I am just up to my elbows in admirers. I know, you're just so jealous.
Yeah. Popular guy when you've got God on your side, huh?
It helps. It helps.
Before the father walks away, Isaiah is just going to gently call out and try to get his attention.
Yeah, Goldie, what you need?
Please call me Dr. Gold. You know that. Can I get the names of those who died?
Sure, it's going to be in the report. Then it's going to be on the XO's desk as well as in administration. I just need to take a few phone calls. You want a copy?
Yes, please.
All right. See if I can get some spares from the clerk. If not, just get some typed up for you.
Thank you very much. Enjoy your night.
Speaking of tonight, is the poker game still on? And more importantly, am I invited?
Poker game is going to have to wait, considering most of these people need shut-eye as opposed to a distraction. I'd suggest, considering what we just heard, find a warm place, Clark. Might want to grab an extra blanket. Because it's either going to be cold as hell because of the rain, or it's going to be a freaking sauna. So, or both. If we're lucky, it'll be both.
Yeah.
I hope we're lucky, as Egan peeps up and still a little bit shivering, but he's trying to hide it because he's in the rain, not with only his wife beaters on and nothing else. So he's kind of shivering right now, cold.
We don't need the flu getting around here combined with everything else.
This is what I was saying. Come on, kiddo. Let's get you in some proper clothes. Come on.
fine. I can take care of myself. Anyway, I need
Yeah, you definitely
know.
can take care of yourself. Come on.
Stay dry, everybody. And Captain Silver walks off.
Yeah.
Well,
Blackburn just
good
sort of
job,
looks around at
everyone.
everyone. Well, I don't know about all of you, but I don't know about all of you, but I am going to go and try to drink my problems away for a few minutes. And he just strides off in the direction of the officers' club.
Burn, have problems? Who would have guessed?
And Klein just sort of looks up. Yeah, he really needs to practice his drinking. He's letting the side down. He just shakes his head. Speaking of which, I'm a little out of practice myself. He just sort of glances over. And a few folks will start heading in the direction of the officers' club, and you folks have a little time. It's nighttime, so it's probably there are plenty of people going to bed, but it's still fairly it's not horribly late yet. So is there what would folks like to do? And actually, I'll go around. I think are Clark and Egan basically sounded like they were heading off together, or is that?
Well, I'm trying to get Egan to somewhere where he can be warm and dry, but I've got plans.
Excellent.
Don't
I'd
let
be
me
delighted.
stop ya. In fact, I can help ya.
Mm.
Don't worry. The coat's not gonna stop me, man.
That's the spirit. So, yeah, we'll presume that you get Egan back to his quarters where he can change and what have you. And so, Clark, what do you want to do? You've got plans. I am excited to hear what they are.
Well, I just want to, stroll by the nurses' quarters, see if anyone's,
Excellent.
up
Naughty,
for a
naughty.
late night stroll.
So, yes, I think. Yeah. So the nurses are many of them are very tired, but they will kind of see you coming, and a few of them will kind of come back, go back into and then they'll come back out with their hair has been some of them their hair has been straightened a little bit from the tangled, or those who are those whose hair is already tangled just on its own looks more artfully tangled, and I think. Let's see. Yeah, I think we're gonna go with. I think we're gonna start with an eyeball move, and then we're going to. Then we're going to move to an influence move if we need to. So first off, you got to roll plus skill.
Let me open. Oh, I'm already on here. I'm just looking for my character sheet. It's right in front of me.
Yeah.
Skill plus.
The world is the character sheet.
Sorry.
Oh, no worries. Okay. So it's really, as they're sort of coming out, the ones who there were two of them that came out like that as I described, and you note that as you get closer, they are looking past you as Sergeant Ellis has come into view. The the first sergeant. And he just sort of is strolling up. He looks miraculously clean, even though he was just helping everybody else. He's wearing a white shirt with the green one over it, with his green sergeant's thing over it, and he comes out. Good evening, ladies. And they just sort of are immediately they just sort of they just go right past you and over to him, and they each kind of take an arm, and he's just sort of oh hey it's good to see you. You did some awesome work in there. It was great. That was fabulous. Hey, you two. And he points over to the two nurses that are left standing out here. One of whom, who are both looking dead tired. One of whom is the chief nurse, and he points to Captain Rodriguez. Hey, you too, Captain. And she says, whatever. and they just sort of are chuckling, and they start heading in the other direction, kind of leaving you alone with basically a very two very tired nurses, one of whom hates everyone.
Bye, ladies. I say to Captain Sergeant Ellis as he's walking away.
Yeah, and they just sort of look back, and in unison they say night, Clark. You see, basically, it's Captain Rodriguez is standing there talking to Nurse Garnier, who is just sort of standing there. She's got long brown hair as well. They both have brown hair, but it's kind of like just there, just looking bedraggled, very tired, sort of thin woman. Just sort of looks up, but Nurse Garnier does look up, and she just sort of is like, "Hey, Clark."
Hi, Garnier.
And the Rodriguez has got a cigarette, and she just sort of is looking over Remington.
Cassie, I saw your sister today.
How nice for you.
Don't you want to know how she was doing? Anything like that?
I suppose if that means that this conversation will end faster.
Aren't you a delight? Well, guess that's my signal to take my leave.
And she just sort of is shaking her head, and she just says, she just kind of is looking at you. Well, actually, no, she wouldn't really even care. And she just sort of shrugs. You just see her just sort of shrug her shoulders as you're heading out. She doesn't really seem to care whether you're there or not, but she's just like... But Nurse Garnier will kind of just sort of look up. She says, "Sorry, Clark, we're just beat."
No, I've been driving so much today. It still looks like the ground's moving in front of me. So, yeah.
Well, maybe it'll be an easier day tomorrow.
Unless they decide to start fighting in the middle of the night again, huh?
Oh yes. Oh yeah, that was so much fun.
Well, at least both my headlights are working this week, so I'll see you ladies
That's good.
tomorrow.
Yeah. Night, Clark.
Good night.
Yeah.
Cassie, you're always a pleasure to talk to.
I know, that's my best quality.
Certainly is. I'm gonna go try and find our priest.
Okay. So you're heading priestward.
Yeah.
Whilst you are heading priestward, what is Dr. Gold doing? First, Dr. Gold should unmute.
Sorry.
No,
Sorry. Dr. Gold is going to follow the other officers into the tent. Not really engage with the others, but he's going to kind of hang around and observe, I guess, kind of hang out on the fringes, waiting for an opportunity to speak up.
Okay. Yeah, I think I'm going to, once again, bending moves to my purpose. I'm going to ask you to do an eyeball roll here. So I think just so you can roll plus.
So? Ooh, that's another skill.
So you need to hit /R space. And then
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Ooh, excellent.
Nice.
Okay. And once again, if need be, we can bend these questions around to mean other things if we need to. So you're holding 2. And you get 2 of the questions on the list, which I am now going to once again put over in chat. So that we can see them. And those are for the eyeball move, as you're eyeballing the situation.
Okay.
And each time there's a little plus, that's a different question. I know some of them sort of jumbled up on the same line.
What do I think this situation needs?
So when you're referring to the situation, I just want to clarify. Are you thinking about what the officers right now are needing overall? Or are you talking about just tonight? Or do you think, is it more just to do with what it is that's troubling them?
What's troubling them?
They are... Yeah, there is... from some of the conversation that they're having as you're walking up, they're kind of... They're talking about about penicillin more than anything else, and that the storms aren't helping any, and that they're down to the last of it. They don't know, and they're actually almost sure they don't know exactly where if it's. There's this question in their mind as to whether they accounted for all of it in the first place. And they're because Major Blackburn is kind of suspecting some of it went missing because he thought that they had more than they had, and it's hard to know whether to chalk that up to him just not paying attention, or if in fact you're shorter on penicillin than you should be.
Can I tell if Dr. Blackburn is telling the truth, or if he's just making up for the fact he's forgetful?
It's actually a little of column A, a little of column B. And it's not really so much that he's forgetful per se. It's that he is... So he is telling the truth, it seems. But he is also perhaps sheltering his ego a little bit. He's... because he doesn't he doesn't like the fiddling details of anything, by and large.
Odd for a
He's-
surgeon.
He's very well. Surgery is an exception, but things outside of surgery, he kind of is. He tries to, he generally believes that he's the important thing that's going on at any time, and so it might be that he wasn't paying as much attention as he should have been in the first place when there were supplies. But those are things taken care of by lesser people, that kind of thing, basically.
That's a worker bee job,
Yes, exactly.
as my manager likes to say. By 5, I get hold 3, right? Or is it hold 2?
I think it's hold 2 on this one. Yeah, this is hold 2 on a 10 plus you hold 2. So those were your questions. But that's what you get as you're coming up.
So I'm very unfamiliar with like officers' clubs. Is it like an open bar, or do you have to buy drinks?
It's a little different from place to place, but I am assuming that you do have to purchase them. It is kind of like you've got a bar there where where you can sit, and then there is someone bartending.
Okay. Well, Isaiah's going to go up. He's going to buy. I don't know what Isaiah would drink. I just realized that. 2 basic, I guess, whatever's on tap, if there's anything on tap. If not, if there's a beer. And he's going to take one and he's going to plunk one down in front of Blackburn and then take a seat in front of him with the other.
All right. Okay, so you're going to go sit near Blackburn?
And try to engage him in conversation and stuff, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, so you go over and you sit down, you start and just when you sit down, he will glance up, and just says, Gold, thank you so much for unleashing the plague on us. And he raises his glass, and we're gonna cut over. To Captain Silver, I think, for just a moment, because I want to see what... Actually, wait a minute. No, we didn't hit quite everyone. What is Egan doing? I'm sorry. What is Egan doing after getting cleaned up?
Well, after getting cleaned up, he's gonna look for Clark. Maybe look around the camps, see if there's something else he can do for everybody.
Okay. You're going to be hunting around. So actually, then in that case, I want to find out, since Clark is looking for Silver, or at least was last time I heard from him. Then I need to know what Silver is doing. So what is Father Silver doing?
He's headed to find the company clerk and get on the horn.
Excellent. Okay.
He wants to get on the horn to the 9013 and see about wheeling and dealing.
All right. You walk into the office, into the office where the clerk is working, which is, the lights are pretty low at this point. There's like one lamp. And it's actually, when you come in, you see it's like he's just sitting in the dark. But there's enough light coming in from the outside that you can see that he's sitting there.
Rufus, you okay?
Slowly a hand reaches up and he turns on the lamp, and you see him just sort of swing around in his chair as he just sort of looks up, and he says, "We're about to try to do something terrible, aren't we?"
Well, not yet.
Okay.
Terrible happens when I get desperate.
Okay.
I'm not desperate yet.
We're not there yet. Okay.
No. I need you to get on the horn over to the 9013. See if I can get a hold of my cohort, Father Morgan over there, and see if we can't make some trades.
Oh, good thing I got it. Oh, good thing I got the radio set up already. And he just sort of turns around and puts on his headset, and he starts ramping up. And I think that's actually where we're going to go ahead and take a break. We're going to break for like 5-10 minutes, and we shall be right back. See you shortly. returned. And now let us see where things are going to go and how they're going to go. So, the Padre is having Corporal Smith call the 9013 to try to get hold of a friend of his. The chaplain over there, is that what you were
Yeah.
Okay.
Father Morgan.
Father Morgan. Tell me a little bit about Father Morgan.
Father Morgan is as Catholic as the day is long. And older fella, veteran. He's a guy who started his service towards the end of World War II.
Okay.
He also, because of his experience, knows that sometimes in order to keep people alive, some rules gotta be bent. And so we're part of a network that actually he kind of heads up. And if things have to go through the black market in order to keep our guys okay, he's our primary contact.
Gotcha. Okay. So Corporal Smith is in the process of doing that. He's placing the call. I think that as everyone is circling around, I think Egan, you're going to. Let me see here. You're going to see. Yeah, this is okay. Yeah, so it's in the it's actually in the hospital, the HQ. I think that's where the company clerk probably is hanging out. It's either that or it would be somewhere by the. The CO's is private tent, so I'm thinking it would be over here, at what they call HQ, Remington, you actually will kind of are looking around, and you will by this point have spotted the sort of the little office, the headquarters office, and you see a light come on in there, and you see that that the Padre is in there. Egan, you will see Remington outside of HQ as you come out from your tents area.
I'll go up to Clark and be like, "Hey, Clarky, so didn't get any score tonight, huh?"
I wish you wouldn't call me Clarky.
Yeah, sorry about that. That nickname came out of nowhere, huh? I just thought that maybe you like a nickname since you give me a nickname, but yeah, that's okay.
Yeah. Keep trying. Maybe the second try will be better.
Yeah. How about tonight? You didn't get any scores, huh? Seems like you didn't go with a girl or anything.
Well, Ellis seems to have taken care of that situation for me, so.
That sucks. I wish I was there to like avert him away from the nurses so you can get a score. I'm sorry I got a cold today.
Are you doing all right? You holding up? You holding up fine?
I just need to lay down a bit, change up my clothes, get warm up, and that's all I really need. So, what you up to?
I was hoping to talk to Father Silver, but he seems like he's busy right now.
Well, you see him kind of now starting to just pace, as it seems like he's waiting for something.
Do you have any plans?
Not really. Other than just writing in my book, I was just thinking about cheering people up after what happens today. You did great, by the way, with all the, taking all the people here, driving them to safety. You did a great job, dude.
Yeah, that's what I do every day. You don't have any fun planned? One of your pranks I can help out with?
Well, there was one thing, but with all that's happening, I don't think that's appropriate to do. I was
Well,
gonna
run it
fake
by
out
me.
some. It was gonna be like a fake out sick, where I'm gonna hide my arms away, and I'll make up like a disease where you can lose your arm from it. It's like a virus that slowly like eats away your arm and stuff like that. And I'm gonna and then I'm gonna make like my arms comes out of my chest and when they're operating on me, and it's just going to be like blood, blah.
Yeah, my suggestion is just stay away from medical related pranks, considering we work at a hospital. It might not go over
Yeah,
so well. Yeah?
yeah. I was
Yeah?
gonna prank the head nurse about it, but
Yeah.
seeing that everyone's got in a bit
She
of a
doesn't need to be
pickle,
in any worse of a mood than she already is in.
yeah,
Until, you know.
thought so. Well, maybe we can just surprise them with maybe switch out their coffee with a bit of cola or something.
We could go and take all the labels off the food in the storage tent.
Oh, that's a good idea. Oh, and we could mix up the cheese crackers with spices.
Let's just take like 30, 40 cans, just no labels. And then breakfast tomorrow will be a little bit more exciting.
Yeah, but we should label the ones that are ours. I mean, we don't want it to backfire to us too, right?
So I'm just going to mention at this point, probably, that Jacob, since you're waiting for them to respond, by this point you've been pacing around a little bit. You notice that just sort of a little outside the window, there is kind of what looks like a slightly animated conversation taking place between a couple of people. Just so you're aware.
Jacob's just gonna kind of like leer out at it, recognize the two, mull it over in his head, and then go back to pacing.
All right.
I'm just saying, Sergeant Ellis is in charge of that stuff, right? I mean, generally speaking. So it might be a fun way to get back at him. Don't you think?
Ooh, I like where this is going.
So I'll stand guard, and you can do. You've got like a penknife.
Oh, I got a pen knife. Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
and
So just.
I got a letter opener and stuff like that.
Mhm. And then we can just, put the paper in a stove when we're done. Store the
Yep.
evidence.
Put them all in the trash. Well, maybe we should snag ourselves a can for the morning, just in case if they, we don't want our.
But that's part of
breakfast
the
to
fun.
attack.
We can't. You have to kind of prank yourself in order to, throw it over on everyone else.
Ah,
Expose yourself
yeah,
to the consequences.
yeah. Well, you're the boss. Let's do this.
Yeah, I'll keep watch outside of the mess tent.
Okay. All right. So you're heading off to go switch a bunch of labels out.
Oh, he's doing that. I'm staying here.
You sent an innocent child. Well, it's not a child. It's 20 years old. So yeah.
You know better.
Excellent. Okay. So Egan, that's what you're going off to do, to go switch the labels?
I hope no one's going to walk in on me.
Okay.
Me too.
You're heading over. I'm gonna head down to the officers' quarters, the officers' club, rather more specifically. Oh yes, the Officers Club. Let's see, which one of those is that? I think it's possibly...
I think it's
This
this
one.
at
Actually,
the
towards
very
the bottom.
bottom.
No, I was referring to the soundtracks,
Hmm.
which... Yeah, there we go. So, you're playing a little bit of music.
All right.
In the background, folks have put some records on. And you're so you're sitting and so Isaiah, you're sitting and you're chatting with Major Blackburn.
Yeah.
And that's right. And he says, so is this your first major disease in all of this tonight? What's going on?
I've only been here for 6 months, and my time before that was spent in Boston. So yes, a very first infectious disease breakout.
Hmm. Yeah. An ill wind that blows no man to good brought us to this place. So, I mean,
What? Just
I
spit it
just want to know
out.
how, and I just want to know, just how in the heck this, this we have what, like 7 cases right now of this
So far.
so far. How did this get under our radar?
I think it's simply because we're overstressed, understaffed, and overworked.
Well, that is the default.
I know, but one thing we have to account for is human error. Things happen when people get stressed.
Humanity, that's something perhaps we should think about. Thinking about what, I've got no idea, but maybe something can be done. Can we build the better human, I wonder? Better human
Depends on what
would
you
be
mean by
broken
better.
into- Yeah, that's a good question.
So how did you end up here in the jungles in the middle of nowhere?
Well, you do rather too. Sometimes you do a little too well, and they decide to actually point your talents at a problem. They have pointed my talents at a problem, and so I'm suffering for doing too well.
I don't know. They wouldn't give you a challenge if they didn't think you could rise to the situation.
They have put me in the unit that is the toilet paper capital of Korea at present. I don't really think that if they wanted to employ me to the best of my abilities, they would necessarily do it here. But of course, what do I know? I am only chief surgeon.
Well, the powers that be work in mysterious ways. They put us where they see us best.
Yeah.
What, are you not a believer?
Ignorance is the curse of God. Knowledge is the wing wherewith we fly to heaven.
Don't believe I've heard that one before.
I'm glad someone has. In the freaking middle of nowhere here. I mean, there are plenty of opportunities that are going to be coming up. There's, you've heard the Norwegians are moving in, have you not?
That's the rumor I've heard.
Yeah, they're coming in. They're opening up a place. Just a bit of the ways up the road. They're a little closer to the front, I think. Yeah, they're over in Wijambu, I think. That's probably, I think, though, that's the thing. They're probably going to be a hell of a lot more effective doing what they do over here than what we're able to do over here. We've got like nothing. We're like almost out of penicillin. I don't know how the hell that happened.
You
We've
have
got less
no
than we
ideas?
should. There's something wrong. No, maybe we can just staunch their wounds with toilet paper.
I mean, if we can find a way to sanitize it, it's worth a shot.
Yeah, something. No. I'm probably going to regret asking this, but why are you here?
Father was a military man. Father died. Seemed like the right thing to do.
So you're not doing this on your own behalf. You're doing this on a parent's behalf. I mean, that's commendable. I mean, I have a military family too, and I'm also kind of big on that myself, and I want to be, don't get me wrong, I want to be out here in Korea because that is, again, where my skills are best used. I just don't think they're best used in this unit. But you're here because your dad died? Why do you want to be here? Do you want to be here?
That's a very loaded question, asking if I want to be here. Do I want to be surrounded by blood and pain and suffering and tropical storms and mosquitoes? No. Am I surrounded by all of the above? Yes. I am doing this of my own free will, beholden to the ghost of my father. I'm not Hamlet. It's, I guess you could say, a drive to fix the people who need it most.
Okay. Well, that's something.
Call me a martyr.
Hey, again, another drink for the martyr. I think we're going to break away again from here, briefly, as we've been having this conversation. We're going to head back outside the officers' club for a little bit over to HQ, and we're going to see that there is a phone call coming in that the clerk answers. And he's like, okay. Storm's knocked down a line, so it's a bit rough, but you can still hear him.
Thank you. All right. Morgan, can you hear me?
Yeah. Hey,
Great.
Jacob. Hey, your folks are taking out the pants over there.
I hate to do this, but I gotta pass the collection plate. We're awfully low on penicillin out here.
What'd you eat it?
No, I'm standing in the toilet paper capital of Korea right now. We're short a few things, and the most important of it is penicillin.
We're very taxed over here.
I can understand that. Can you at least point me to somebody who I might be able to get something? And I would like to use one of my moves.
What is your move, sir?
This is my operator move.
Excellent.
This is Scrounge. And I'm going to roll my luck and pray.
Excellent. Now would be the time to do it.
Swing and a miss.
That's a 10.
Oh, cool.
10 is quite good. Let's see.
That means that on a 10 plus, I can seek out contact. I rolled. The contact has it or close enough to it.
Okay. Good. All right. Oh, that's right. This is the operator move. That's right. I'm looking in the wrong place. There we go. Do. All right. All right. Close enough. Gotcha. He says, "But I do know where you can get some."
All right.
And they should be, should actually, and they're actually a little closer to you than they are to me. So you
Okay.
actually can probably go and get it. You just tell them, I sent you. You should be good with them.
Okay.
But now, they're gonna want something in return. They're gonna need something. But if you tell them they can use some of my credit, and they'll be able to at least give you some.
All right. I'll see what I can scrounge here.
All right.
Thanks, Morgan.
Well, do you want to know where they are so you can get it from them?
Yes, I do.
You know that little okay, so there's a village just a few miles just a few clicks south of you. You know the one I'm talking about? Or not south of you, north of you. A few clicks north of you. You know what I'm talking about? An old village. Yeah. Okay. So I happen to know that in the morning there will be some folks around who are the folks with whom I have a little bit of credit. You can go. You've got my proc, so you can go ahead and use it with them.
Okay.
They should be out and about. They operate out of a truck.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Morgan.
He says, well, don't want people dropping dead. Well, in a place like this, of course, it's inevitable. But hopefully, the fewer we can make that, the fewer we can get to the fewer that get to that condition, the better.
Yeah. God's bless.
And you.
All right. Thanks, Rufus.
Rufus is just sort of. Rufus at this point is just kind of like just kind of opens his eyes, and he's like, "What? Yeah, sure. Are you done?"
Yeah.
Okay.
Is there anything in particular you're looking for your next march for conquest? Any particular ingredients I should be keeping an eye out for?
He just sort of is looking up. He says, ooh, yes. You know, it's weird since there's, for some reason, it is, I don't know why, maybe it's just this area, but I've been having a hell of a time trying to get a hold of Basil.
All right. Well, I'll see what I can find. I'm going to have to go on one of my field trips, so
Well, good luck.
thanks.
And yeah, you kind of have been around him long enough to know sort of, yeah, Basil is in his hands is actually quite good because it's kind of you can pretty much add it to anything, so just sort of will vary, but there are many cooking tricks surrounding Basil. So you're going to kind of look as you're heading out of HQ. You see Remington there, who had elected to stay put.
Seeing him and then not seeing Egan with him, considering earlier, like, Jacob gets out of the HQ, door closes behind him, and he just kind of like stands there for a second. Like, looks up first, completely dead in his tracks. Looks left, looks right. Nothing's happened. Another beat. Then, like, eeks a little bit forward, looking left, looking right. Clark?
How's it going, Father?
Good. Where's the good private?
Oh, I don't know. You know how he gets up to things.
Yeah, that's what I'm asking.
You know, you can't control the flow of a river.
Actually, you can. We're in the army.
One person can't control the flow of a river.
Fair. You're here.
I am here. Astute observation.
Uh-huh.
I
Apologies.
I was wondering if I could pick your brain about something.
Sure. It seems as though the Lord provides. I'm going to need to take a field trip in the morning. Need a co-pilot.
You mean you need to be the co-pilot?
Yes, I do.
Because I guess Jesus won't suffice?
Oh, Christ helps those who help themselves.
Yeah, I'm sure he does.
So what you need to pick my brain about?
Well, every time we get our fatalities in, it's always, drawing lots all over in the motor pool to see who gets to be the lucky son of a bitch who gets to, take those poor guys back to fly them out. I really hope I'm not the one. Just wondering if you had any advice about that.
I see. Here, Clark. Come. Why don't we go for a walk? We can head towards my tent. If anything gets heavy, there's at least 2 bottles of scotch I've got swirled away.
So you really believe in all this God bumbo jumbo?
I have seen too much. At one point, there was definitely, faith. But at this point, I have seen too much, that now it's more knowing. There is no reason some of those boys on that operating table should be alive today, but they are, by the grace of God. That's the only reason they made it. Between the weather, what's going on in the front lines, the myriad fallibility of man. The only reason that those boys are alive is the grace of God.
And what about the ones who die?
See earlier statement about the folly of man.
Here's the thing. You say you see these kids come in, shot halfway to hell, and they come out walking. And you call that, the grace of God. You call that a miracle. I don't know. I think I see the opposite. Because, why are they even here in the first place? If there's a good and loving God out there, why are, 18-year-old kids getting put in the line of fire?
There was only one class I failed in seminary.
Which one was that?
It was a class on heresies. One of the things that you go through in seminary is the myriad heresies of the Christian faith. I was never really good at justifying the Holy Trinity, something that should be seen as polytheism by definition. But they hold as a singular deity. But one of the reasons why I failed that class was because the good sister who was teaching it had differing opinions to myself as opposed to the why does God let people suffer? I still don't entirely understand that. I really don't. And I failed that class for that lack of understanding. And it's not one I can justify to you, Clark. I really can't. If everything they say in that book, which most I do believe, then there is no reason for man to suffer, especially innocents. Again, the phrase war is hell. No, hell is hell, war is war. There's no innocent bystanders in hell. I think we're going to have that drink.
I'll gladly accept it.
I think that we're going to... Drinking is about to commence. But I think we're going to pan over to a couple of places. First, I'm going to head back to Egan.
Did Clark just left me in the supply?
So, just to be... So that I've got this kind of properly in my head. You're going to the to where they keep the food supplies in the... There's either going to be a supply tent or the mess tent. I think you were headed to the mess tent, probably. Is that right? Or is it... Or were you did I hear that wrong? Were you headed to a different tent?
I think I was going to the supply tent with Clark.
All right. So you head to the supply tent, and I'm going to need you to, as you're sort of just assessing what you need to get started.
Well, first of all, I'm gonna pull out my
Mhm.
my letter opener from my pocket. I keep it around. It's in my it's placed right inside my journal, and then I just start going around, picking up cans, switching it out, switching the booze with the coffee, or just mixing it up.
Oh my god.
Just
Nice.
just
So,
shake it all up.
for the in the interest of playing the best possible prank, I would like you to eyeball the situation, um,
All right.
so that we can see if how glorious this is going to end up.
Let me check. What's eyeball?
It's going to be plus skill.
Oh, that's skill. I don't have any skill, so.
Excellent.
Oof.
Okay, so you go around like you said, and you are swapping a lot of labels, and you may ask one question immediately if you wish about the situation, but I may answer with a lie or a half truth.
All right. Am I gonna get jumped by somebody?
You are not going to get jumped by. You're not going to get jumped.
But I'm gonna get caught, am I?
I don't know. I don't know yet, but you do get very engrossed in what you're doing, because you start to see these different labels of very similar looking things, and you're like, you realize that you could pull this off quite masterfully, and you set to work, basically switching out a few things. They actually have somehow they have cayenne pepper, which you're able to swap out for. Which you're able to swap out for some for brown sugar, which is very nice, very helpful. You're
I
able
mix
to,
the cinnamon with the sugar.
you're able to do a lot of salty sweet sort of swaps, and it is going to be you do this for so long that you lose track of time, and I will be back to you in just a
Okay.
bit. Let us now head back to the officers' club. And I must ask. Isaiah. First off, are you drinking?
Slowly, I'm pacing myself.
Okay. Yeah. Blackburn is not pacing himself very well. He's just basically slamming them down. He has a good tolerance, though. And as the conversation has continued, is there a particular way you're kind of leaning, a thing you're trying to get out of him as you're talking?
I'm trying to see who he thinks is behind the penicillin theft, seeing if he
Gotcha.
has any ideas.
Okay. All right. Good. Excellent. Do. I would like you to make an influence roll. And you have 3 choices. You can roll with luck if you're trying to manipulate them. You can roll with nerve if you're trying to seduce them. You cannot roll with tough because you're not pulling rank. You can't pull rank here. So it's either luck or nerve, depending on which approach you're taking.
Let's go to influence.
Yeah, that's where we are. So, you want to manipulate them or seduce them?
Let's go to manipulate.
Okay, so roll plus luck.
Wrong chat.
Okay, 7. For NPCs, on a 7 to 9 when pulling rank or not pulling rank, on a 7 to 9 for manipulation or seduction, the NPC requires a quid pro quo favor or some sort of payment in goods or cash. Whether you break the agreement later is up to you. Excellent. Okay. So let's see here. Do. Okay. Here we go. So as you're as you're talking here, it's kind of sort of looking this over. Is sort of you kind of needed to move from more the general to the specific here, and so I think you've kind of gotten to the point that he's been sort of drinking a little longer, and he says, and he just sort of is looking. He just sort of is sort of looking at you slightly strangely. He says, "Okay, you have an angle here."
Guilty as charged. How'd you figure that out?
He just sort of looks at. He smooths his mustache out as he sort of leans forward, and he says, "Maybe you're not the only one who can see into people's heads."
Well, consider me frightened then. Looks like I'm out of a job.
No, I think you... Oh, I don't know. I think you might be safe for now, although, no. It's rather a lot of talking to people that goes on. I don't know if that's something I'd really want to sink my teeth into. I suppose I could give it a try, though. How would I look with a cigar? I think that's really the big question here.
I think your talents lie in the physical area of medicine.
Well, fair enough. But but like I said, I'm guessing you seem to be practicing a little bit of psychiatry at the moment. What is your angle here? What do you want?
I'm interested in your opinion as to the penicillin shortage and why exactly we have a shortage. I know you suspect theft, and I want to know why.
I think someone is taking it because we have not, because I have been noticing that, well, every day when we get an inventory, there's something up with the numbers that we're getting. Because I think about it, and I think about the number of patients we have, and it doesn't quite match up.
So how do you think people could be stealing it?
He says, well, you just sort of will lean in. They'll say, well, anybody with access could potentially be involved, or anyone who knows somebody with access. Here's the thing. I mean, I've got I got my eye on somebody here. Well, not here, but someone around. And the thing is, well, it's one of those things you kind of have to be a little bit careful about, right? When you start talking about things like this, I mean, people start to go a little crazy if they think you're starting to point fingers. You know what I'm saying?
Your secrets are safe with me.
Are they
Not quite doctor-patient confidentiality, but drinking buddy confidentiality.
How about we ensure confidentiality in both directions? Just as a thought. I mean, I'm kind of interested in knowing for instance, when various reviews come up that I know that perhaps you might be a part of, that there is, when Camp Norway opens up in Wijambu, maybe there might be good words to spread.
Are you for?
I'm sorry, I didn't quite catch that. Your voice cut out for a second.
Are you looking for a transfer?
Let's just say I'm trying to keep my options open.
Consider it done.
Okay.
So give me that name.
So, the thing with the medical supplies, I can't be 100% certain it's him. All right? But you know who it is that reports these numbers.
Side question. Do I know that as Pepper?
You do. Well, no, not as Pepper. But well, maybe I don't know. You might. But I'm just going to say you would know that you make the logical leap and realize that he's talking about the company clerk, Corporal Smith.
And why would he steal it? What? He can't sell it. It has no monetary value. What's going on?
Oh, no, not monetary value, but he's got... I mean, a lot of this is speculation, right? So I can't say completely, but he's got, like I said, a bit of a soft spot for somebody, and I think he sometimes likes the patients that she likes to do well. So that might be something of an application, and again, I don't know for certain that would, but that might involve a bit of a conspiracy, and so I don't want to, like I said, you got to be careful about getting into those. But it is an interesting thought. I don't know exactly what he's doing with it. He might be selling it off for all I know, or he might be trying to build up something to be able to make a trade. He doesn't want to be here.
That's very true. It's obvious he doesn't want to be here.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I can keep an eye on him for you.
Well, here's hoping. I haven't been able to catch the bastard at it doing... Well, it's hard to catch the bastard doing anything, let alone something illegal.
It's worth a shot, right?
Isn't it, though?
Well, it's better than letting the patient suffer.
Yeah. At the very least.
Even if they're just going to be sent back into a war zone, you have to make sure they're fighting fit.
Yeah. It's going to kind of be collapsing the whole thing on us otherwise, yeah.
I signal for another drink for
Yeah.
Dr. Blackbird.
Yeah. He'll raise his glass. He says, well, to this whole process screwing up slightly less in the future.
Cheers. And Isaiah's going to clink beers and drink.
And we are once again going to head away from the club. I think a considerable amount of drinking has happened. Is there anything else aside from just the general sort of? Is there more stuff that you would like to do? And by you in this case, I mean Jacob and Clark. This evening.
I just like to talk.
Sure, absolutely. So you're over in the chaplain's quarters where the poker game usually takes place.
No.
How far are we through the bottle?
We are pacing ourselves. So we're only a quarter of the way in.
I take a sip of scotch and I say, you know, my mom, she was Presbyterian. That's what she went to church, dragged me and my little brother along every Sunday, right up until she died. So the whole time I'd pray every night and, you know, hope that she'd get better. And then when she didn't, well, my father certainly wasn't going to keep up the practice. You say you failed one class at seminary. I flunked out of high school, so you're doing better than me. In a lot of ways.
Yeah. When I was doing my residency, there was something that stuck with me. One of the doctors there, who wasn't a very religious man, did have this to say to me. I think he almost said resentfully. There is at least one good thing about believing in God. It gives you someone to be mad at.
Oh, maybe.
Clark?
Yeah.
Self-loathing, after a while, becomes a pastime. A habit. And habits are awfully hard to break. He says while lighting up another cigar.
Now, what about me makes you think I hate myself?
Because there's a thing that's easy to pick up on when you do your residency as a priest at a hospital.
What's that?
That the people that outlive the loved ones have a lingering question that they cannot answer. Why wasn't it me? It should have been me. I've seen plenty of mothers have to bury sons and daughters. And every single time when they have to deal with burying their baby child, it should have been me. I've also seen plenty of daughters and sons mourning a parent, going, "It should have been me."
Yeah, I think you gotta lay off the sauce there, Padre, because you're really missing the mark there.
Well,
It's been a nice night. It's been a nice night. Thanks for the drinks.
Clark.
What?
Clark. Puts the cigarette down. I, too, am fallible. Pours more of the alcohol, downs a fifth just all at once. I am not always cut out for that collar. And I'm not always cut out for talking to people. Sometimes that's Goldbeach's job, not mine. And right now, if I may, if you'll let me, I don't want to be a chaplain right now.
What do you want to be?
I just want to be someone you can open up with. You can be yourself, Clark.
I don't think anybody wants to see that happen. Like I said, it's been a nice night. Thanks for the drinks. You need me in the morning? What time do you want to see me?
All right. Need to do that extracurricular early because that truck's not going to be there all day. So I guess I'll see you at sunup.
See you at sunup.
Take care, Clark.
I'll do my best. And he leaves.
Yes. Good, good. We're going to pan over as we see Clark leaving the Padres' tent. Actually, as that's happening, you kind of, Clark, you kind of sort of glance over, and you see Lieutenant Colonel O'Malley is going into his tent. He's actually left the officers' club at this point, and so he's sort of opening up, and he's got you see he's just sort of hanging in the doorway, and he's he's got the door open, and he's just sort of looking down at someone. He says, "Now, what have you been up to?" And you see him kind of bend down, and he picks up his cat, Camilla. He's just sort of scritching her behind the ears. And as he turns, he sees you heading out, and he nods. Remington? Sort of doing that, and he's just like, oh. And he's sort of turning, going back into his head. Now you haven't been marking up the desk, have you? We talked about this, and they go inside. And we sort of move over. The camera is going to pull up and pan over to the supply tent, where we're going to see that Egan. Now you're kind of you've gotten your way into the back. It's pretty dark in here. Did you bring a flashlight or anything, or did you just sort of dive in without thinking?
I brought a little lighter with me. Maybe it's
Okay,
like
you
it's
got
like
your
a
lighter.
lighter.
You've been doing
Yeah,
this.
this is around.
You've been busily swapping things out, and it's been wonderful.
It's like I'm sitting down on the ground,
Yeah.
one hand on the ladder, and then my foot just hold the cans while I'm just trying to like um peel off the label with one hand only. It's just like, yeah, just getting crafty.
So you're getting to the point where you've swapped so many labels in here, and it's getting hard to remember which ones you've done now and which ones you haven't. But you're like well ensconced near the back, kind of behind all these shelves and stuff, and you realize time has kind of been getting away from you. It must be pretty late by now. When you hear the door open to the tent, when you hear the sort of the, I assume the supply tent, they've kind of got a little bit of a structure. They've got doors. The sort of screen door opens, and yeah. You hear footsteps sort of squelching through the mud.
I quickly turn off my lights and hide somewhere and hope that I hear Clark somewhere, just trying to get them off. Or maybe he failed.
So, yeah, you're here. It's kind of a, whoever it is, they're kind of walking with a shuffling gait, and you don't see any light. They're not turning a light on.
Huh. Well, do I hear anything from them?
There's this like, not at first. There's like this kind of, it's almost like a very low muttering. You can't really make out what's being said. After a minute or two. And there's an area over to the side, where kind of there are some medical supplies, that are behind another sort of little caged in area, and which you can kind of see from where you're situated.
Mm-hmm.
And you see the outline of somebody come into view. You can't see who it is because it's dark. They're kind of tall. You can tell that much. And you think maybe they're wearing a bathrobe.
Huh.
And you see them, they go up, and you hear this, and you hear some unlocking sounds. And the door kind of opens to the into the sort of caged area, and it's like they kind of lean in, and they pick up something and they stuff it in their pocket, and they close and they kind of slam the door closed a little bit, and they lock it. They hit the padlock again, and they turn around, sort of stumbling. And they seem to be stumbling toward one of the other shelves, and they're just sort of reach up without, it looks like they're not even looking. They grab something off of a shelf and they stuff it in another pocket. Are you doing anything, or are you just watching them?
I'm watching them, but I'm planning to see where he's going. If he's going out, I'm gonna try to sneak out and follow him.
Okay. I think I'm going to ask you to eyeball this situation. So go ahead and roll plus skill, please.
Alright, there you go.
9. On a 7 to 9, hold 1, so you'll have one question off of the eyeball list.
Let me check the eyeball list. Where was it?
I also posted a little in chat, just a little ways up, if you want, in the Roll20 chat, if you want to.
Oh yeah. Let me
Wanna see
check
it
the
there.
roll 20 then. Uh, I want to know if I can I can like hmm. God, should I do that? Okay, I'm just can I caught them in the act and try to like act like I'm the one who's keeping the tent secure, so not to raise suspiciousness on them, and just like yeah, do
Yeah,
that.
yeah, we can basically. How can I get the situation to be such that it's that you are? It is convincing that you are guarding the tent.
Yeah, and whoever this is just going to like
Yeah, there
have
should be
nothing
someone
else.
guarding the supply tent actually, because it's night, so there are people
Yeah,
patrolling, but they usually sometimes they're not really like right out here necessarily. Um, Usually they're guarding from outsiders, but outsiders coming in, but uh, so if it was how can I get that to happen? Probably just sort of looking at the situation. You think if you can manage to get out of the tent so that, or at the very least to the entrance of the tent before they make it there, you can make it look like you're just coming in. That's probably going to be
um,
your easiest bet.
all right. I'm gonna put my small frame to good use and sneak my way through the supply tent and to the entrance.
All right, I'm going to ask you to push your luck. So you're going to be rolling plus luck.
All right. God, good thing I have a +1 on it. Ah, never mind.
Ah, excellent. So here's kind of what happens, right?
God
Um,
damn it, Egan is clumsy.
so you see, you're kind of moving around the shelves, heading toward the front, sneaking around. You're very quietly. You're getting near the entrance. When you realize that you had moved some kitchen utensils aside that you never put back, that were fairly near the entrance. A few pots that are there, and you bang right into them and fall over just as this person is passing by.
I just slam headfirst into a whack.
And the interesting thing that happens here is that they just sort of glance over your head, and
I didn't see his face.
you hear him say, "Well, you do." As he's opening the door, he just sort of glances over your head. He doesn't even seem to look at you. He reacted a little bit to the pots and pans, but he just sort of is looking. And when he opens the door, you can kind of gets near the door. You can see the moonlight. That it's Corporal Smith, and he's got a very dazed look in his eyes, and he's like, he looks over your head. He's like, no, Mom, I'll pick it up. It'll be all right. And he turns and he heads out of the tent.
Egan just blinks, shakes his head, blinks again, and as he watches Smith just goes away, he's like, well, I guess Clark was not around to see that happens. Wait, Clark! And then he just stumbles out and then quickly runs toward Clark's tent.
So I kind of want to close there, but I know that we could go for like one more scene since I think that there is I don't know how much I feel as though things might continue happening into the night as a result of this, but we'll see. What do we have? It's a little like 10 after. I think that. Yeah. Did Clark go back to his tent when he left the Padre? Yeah. So yeah, I think that you're going to. Yeah, let's go ahead. Let's go ahead and just before we close this, I kind of want to see where this goes. So yeah, you bolt across to where to the motor pool where Clark makes his where Clark makes his bed, basically, to that tent there. Clark, you've just gotten in there, and are getting ready to kind of just bed down. And when Egan comes bursting into the motor pool,
I just come bursting in and then trips on like something and then just my head just hits the floor, but then I quickly got up and like, Clark, holy freak!
Jesus. Eggy, can I get some privacy?
Yeah, sorry about that, but also, why did you leave me, dude? I just witnessed something. I thought you would be there to see it. It's like, I don't even know.
What did
Maybe
you
I had a
see?
fever?
What did you? Well, you have to tell me now. What did you see?
Okay, so I was doing the things that we were doing, right? What I was trying to do, flip the labels and all that stuff, and then I see someone's getting into the supply. It's not one of the guards. I'm not sure. No, wait, it's not one of the guards. Of course, it's not. It's like someone's going in, stuffing something in from the medical supplies, and then going out, and then I was trying to get a jump on them, sneak up on them, but then I hit my head on a rock because I didn't see where I was going and I was a little bit panicky, and then I see his face. It was Smith. It was Smith. Yeah, it was Captain Smith. This he just mumbles to me like, I'll put this back where it belongs, mom, or something like that. I all drunk like. You didn't put anything on his drink, don't you?
No, I that's kind of more your style.
Oh yeah, it is. Wait, did I put something in his drink this morning? No.
I don't think so.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He seems dazed and all that.
So he's probably sleepwalking, which might be something we can use to our advantage.
Oh yeah, but he also got this key, and then he just opens up the gate to the supply room. I don't know. Maybe we can use that to our advantage too. We like try to convince him in his sleep to give us the key sometimes.
I don't know. I'll have to sleep on it.
You know, I'd like to draw some banana peel and things on the bandages. So when they put on the bandages on some people, it's gonna look
my
like
God.
a kindergarten stuff.
I admire the way your mind works, Eggy. I really do. It's admirable.
Oh, what can you say?
Not a lot.
Anyway, seems like you're gonna be sleeping tonight, and I'm gonna be sleeping knowing the fact that Smith could be sleepwalking anywhere. So
Well, just be glad you didn't get caught.
yeah, but I'm gonna keep my eyes open in case Smith gonna walk up on me on my tent, knowing he's sleepwalking.
Well, we all have to live with that now. Look, I've got an early morning. I'm sure you do too.
Yeah. Oh, just before I do go, I have this little joke that you might appreciate.
All right, let's hear it.
What do you call a golden dinosaur?
What?
A Stegosaurus. Stegosaurus.
Yeah, it's a real gut buster.
I'll just leave you be. I'll just excuse myself, okay? Alright, bye. And I go back to my tent in shame of my puns.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I think that as everyone slowly goes back to their tents and turns in for the night, and you see briefly an image of Corporal Smith stumbling around, wandering back to his, after having been somewhere else in the camp. There's mud on him, and we are going to go ahead and end there for this week. So, folks, thank you very much for watching. I'm glad we were able to get in this RP session. I'm enjoying it quite a bit. We're going to go ahead and do our outros. We shall go. So we actually ended up going almost reverse order. So this time I'm going to go in direct order to do our outros. And just feel free to again say where folks can find you and any thoughts about this session, or whatever you're up to saying at this point. And we will start with Robin.
Hi, everyone. I've been Robin. You can find me on Twitter at r_Omulus. That's all places I am streaming currently. But I always have terrible, terrible things to say on Twitter. And I'm very happy that this session tonight, it was really fun. And I'm excited to see where this takes us.
Yay. Very cool. Me too. And now let's head over to Noah.
Alright, my name is Noah. You can find me on Twitter at OrenRune. I usually just retweet arts and comments about stuff on Twitter, and my thoughts about this session is it's just incredible. Egan did a lot today, and I did not expect to see someone actually coming in and surprise him like that in the supply. And I hope Robin doesn't mind the little joke that Egan did.
It is a delight. Very good. And now we will move on to Pepper.
All right. My name's Pepper. I use they, them pronouns. You can find me on Twitter at mebethem4815 and an archive of our own with the same handle. I am very interested to see what's going on with Smith. I just kind of want to hornet's nest and see what's happening. I'm that kind of player. Also, I'm really interested to see how this relationship and the dynamic between Isaiah and Blackburn plays out.
Yeah. This is going to be interesting.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting them to get along.
No, me neither. But you kind of talked him around a little bit. It's gonna be interesting how this goes. And finally, Pope.
Hey everybody, Pope World Build here on Twitter and on the Twitch. I lurk in all your streams. If you want to see more of me in something far less emotionally compromising, but more perilous, you can catch me tomorrow over on Tales from the Grim for May Black Roses Bloom, where I'll be reprising everyone's favorite undead dwarf. So we will see you there. As for this, just wow, ow. So I can't believe I'm saying this. That now I have to actually say, Robin, Jim, I love you. I hate you. Hate you both. And is it Tuesday yet?
Not just yet. No.
That's unfortunate. I love you all. Chat, YouTube, wherever you're seeing this, know that I love you. Take care. I look forward to seeing you soon.
Awesome. Well, folks, yeah, this was cool. I enjoyed this quite a bit. Still kind of getting into seeing how all the moves work and everything, and how this is going to come together. And I like what I'm seeing quite a lot so far. As for me, once again, I'm Jim Ryan. You can find me at OtherDoc on both Twitch and Twitter. My website is jimyesthatjim.com, where you can find my Geek Observation podcast and links to my various other podcasts, audio dramas, writings, and such. I've got links down below to my website, Twitter, and YouTube channel. On this channel this Saturday, we have Invisible Sun, The Edge of Paradox, that campaign which goes on. They're on a boat. We'll have to see what happens to them. And then on Sunday, we will have a one-shot of The Deep Forest, which is a sort of a reimagining of The Quiet Year, written by the same author. Avery Alder did The Deep Forest as well, but it's about playing monsters in a forest. And as far as signups go, I actually we might be able to get one more into that one, possibly, but we'll see. But that said, I am hopefully within, and actually I started to do this before we went live today, but I didn't actually finish the update, but hopefully within but half an hour, I shall have sign-ups up for a one-shot of For the Queen, which will be a week from Sunday. And then sometime by around mid-month, I'm hoping that I will have sign-ups up for next month's short campaign of Don't Rest Your Head. And I'll be talking more about that soon, but again, just keep an eye on the Twitters, basically, for that. It'll be on that sign-up page. As always, beginners are welcome. So when we hit the end card, where shall we go? I think, as I'm looking around, all right, Scraticus. Sure, we can do that. Yeah. They're doing, what is it? Mackenzie is running something over there. It's called Apotheosis. I'm not sure what it is, but I'm gonna go over. I'm gonna go raid them. We can, and if you're so inclined, you can feel free to hang around and say hi with us when we go on over there. That again will be when we hit the end card. In the meantime, though, thanks so much for watching, folks. Take care, and I will see you next week. Farewell.